The Meaning of Life by Marisa Goglia. Hey, that's me. Are you ready to learn about the meaning of life? Yes? I didn't give you much of a choice. Let's go. What exactly is the meaning of life? Why are humans here on Earth? What is our purpose? These are all questions that I would ask myself well before this paper and this class. According to Richard Taylor, in his essay titled The Meaning of Life, Taylor states whether life has any meaning is difficult to interpret, and the more you concentrate your critical faculty on it, the more it seems to elude you or evaporate as any intelligible question. For Taylor, he focuses on the word meaningless, citing the ancient myth of Sisyphus. Sisyphus betrayed divine secrets to mortals and was condemned by the gods to roll a stone to the top of the hill. In turn, the stone would immediately roll back down and was then pushed by Sisyphus to the top of the hill, only to roll back down again and again forever. This is the point that Taylor is illustrating in the myth of Sisyphus, that it contains this repetitive cycle that never comes to anything, no matter how big or small the stone is. Now keep this in mind. What if Taylor tells you, instead of the stones rolling back down, what if they were assembled at the top of the hill and incorporated into a beautiful, enduring temple? Then his life would have some meaning, right? But wait, Taylor alters the myth. The myth has the same premise that I told you previously, but now the gods have injected a substance into Sisyphus's veins, which alters his character and drives. Now Sisyphus has one obsession: to roll the stones. To Taylor, our life resembles that of the first image of Sisyphus. Human life presents itself like a vast machine, feeding itself, running on forever to nothing. But remember the substance that was injected into Sisyphus's veins? That was his will, his desire. As Taylor sees it, you no sooner drew your first breath than you responded to the will that was in you to live. You don't ask whether it will be worthwhile or if there will be any significance to it. You go throughout your life simply living, building your castles, each beginning to fade into time as the next is beginning. While we would like them to have a lasting permanence on this earth, they never do. What matters is that you should be able to create a new bubble, a new task, a new castle. It counts only because it is there to be done, and you have the will to do it. The same is said for the lives of our children and theirs. Unlike Taylor, Susan Wolf does not find meaning in Sisyphus's life. Wolf states that a meaningful life are lives of active engagement in projects of worth. Active engagement is defined by Wolf as a person being actively engaged by something if one is gripped, excited, involved by it, and if one is not, this leads to boredom and alienation. Therefore, Wolf suggests activities such as writing a book, climbing a mountain, training for a marathon, and caring for an ailing friend. Thus, frowning upon activities such as crossword puzzles and computer games. While they may be worthwhile, they are not activities worth living in her view. In terms of projects of worth, in order to maintain a meaningful life, there is a commitment involved in these activities. If one is not committed, this is considered meaningless, and one should consider looking for another project elsewhere. Dissimilar to Wolf and Taylor, the meaning of life can also be found in the work of Plato's student, Aristotle, the king. For Aristotle, the meaning of life is viewing the good as the human potential to live well, hence to reach eudaimonia. To reach this state, it takes time and patience. While on this path to achieve eudaimonia, Aristotle says one must acquire virtues. There are two types of virtues, intellectual and moral. Intellectual virtues are those that require teaching, experience, and time. Moral virtues are a result of habit, or as Aristotle calls it, habituation. Once one's virtues are obtained, then Aristotle's golden mean becomes more visible. The moral virtue is a mean, and it is a mean between two vices, the one involving excess, the other deficiency, because its character is to aim at what is intermediate in one's passions and actions. It is designed essentially around who you are as a person. It's your roadmap, sliding scale that guides you throughout life. On the other side of the spectrum, there is Friedrich Nietzsche. Growing up as the son of a Lutheran pastor, Nietzsche saw Christianity firsthand and became a staunch critic of it. Thus began the start of his philosophy, when he declared,
God is dead. God remains dead, and we have killed him.
This was not a celebration for Nietzsche, as he is often associated with nihilism. Nihilism is a belief that all values are baseless, and nothing can be known or communicated. For Nietzsche, the belief in nihilism was not true. Nietzsche both predicted and feared, without sufficient replacement, humanity would be left to struggle with no clear system or meaning. Nietzsche looked no further than to the arts and humanities as one of his solutions towards a meaningful life. Upon further examination, Nietzsche found that the universities were drying out the arts, often losing their luster and dependability. Next, Nietzsche came up with what is his most notable solution. Nietzsche termed this philosophy in what is known as the Übermensch, or sometimes known as the Overman or Superman. The Overman is described as defiant, confident, independent individual who pursues their desires with dignity and vigor without any interference from the outside world. According to Nietzsche, the Overman is there to function as oneself. Within this, Nietzsche believed that the human operates off of the will to power. For Nietzsche, power didn't mean physical strength or domination. It is a psychological power over oneself. This is known as self-overcoming, the desire to strive to become the Overman. It is through this cycle where one works on and finds self-dissatisfaction, self-improvement, and self-rediscovery, which, according to Nietzsche, is the key to resolve the meaning of value in life. How do these two, Aristotle and Nietzsche, connect if they do at all? Aristotle, an avid biologist, defines eudaimonia not only as happiness, but more so as flourishing. Aristotle symbolizes the meaning of life in terms of the cycle of a flower. One plants the flower, gives it nourishment with water, and if one does not, the plant withers away, and then this cycle repeats itself. The life of a beautiful flower also mirrors human life. When we are put here on this earth, it is our parents who give us nourishment by helping and watching us grow into adults. When we reach adulthood and set out into the real world, the flower can begin to wither. Those are the roadblocks, the hardships that we may face. But again, it is the support from our parents, friends, and family that give us the will and drive to keep moving forward until we grow old and reach our demise. Then the beautiful cycle of the meaning of life repeats itself once again. Flourishing results in a different interpretation for Nietzsche. Nietzsche sees the meaning of life as more of an individualized creative pursuit. Nietzsche believes your life is in the palm of your hands. You are the artist with the paintbrush. Paint the picture as you see fit. You are in control. The easel is yours. In life, take risks, no matter how big or small. Life is an adventure full of twists and turns. And when you happen to find yourself on a path of uncertainty, don't look back. Go the distance, because in the end, you might be glad you did. Speaking for myself, I always found the meaning of life to be quite interesting. I was born with cerebral palsy, weighing 2 pounds, 10 ounces. The doctors had told my parents at the hospital that I would not survive. As Taylor said in his essay, you no sooner drew your first breath than you responded to the will to live. For me, this rings true. I defied the odds and proved the doctors wrong. Like Aristotle's flower, I did have to grow up a little faster, going to physical and occupational therapy, learning how to walk, talk, sit, and stand. But if it wasn't for my parents' physical and occupational purpose, I wouldn't be where I am today. While I agree with Nietzsche that life is individualized and creative, I do believe in the narrative perspective, that everything happens for a reason. I feel that this can be seen throughout my life. I did not get into my first college choice. I ended up at County College of Morris. Looking back now, had I not ended up at CCM, I wouldn't have joined the school newspaper, made friends, developed a passion for writing, or changed my major to journalism. Then I wouldn't have ended up at my dream school, Fairleigh Dickinson University. To me, everything worked out exactly as it should have, even if it didn't seem like it at the time. To me, this is the meaning of life. Thank you for watching my video, and make sure to comment on the discussion board.